What's up, y'all? It's JokermanUno here, back at you with a One Piece discussion. I know I'm looking completely haggard, completely terrible, like I just woke up. My hair is not done. I have a hair appointment. I did just wake up, and it's Halloween. But I gotta talk about something that's going on Twitter right now. Library, what's his name again? Artur, Library of Ohara. You know, this guy, he has, staked a claim in the One Piece fandom, and is one of those fans and influencers who provides information, and so they feel like they have a bit of authority when it comes to One Piece. I'm not saying anything bad about the guy. I think he's pretty cool as far as those type of people go in fan spheres, but that's what he is. Anyway, he went on not a tirade, but sort of like a long sort of like thing talking about his disappointment in Garp as a character, as a person. And it's not like a fault to Oda or anything like that. He's just disappointed at the actual person that Roger turned out to be, as opposed to what we knew about him. Let's just take a look at what he said real quick before I get into it. Initial tweet. Screw the Garp slander. Honestly, I'm disappointed that we haven't seen Roger's crew try to save any slaves on the way or even share an opinion on the genocide tournament. Feel like the Straw Hats would definitely have reacted differently, and it brings down Roger a bit for me. Then he quote tweeted this, explaining himself. Very long. I don't know if I'm going to go through the whole thing, but I'll leave it on the screen. This is a very interesting topic, honestly. So here's extra thoughts on my end after reading your replies. One Piece has always been about morally ambiguous characters, but within them, Luffy has always been a positive force, and I feel like Roger has been consistently paralleled by several characters to say how much Luffy reminds them of him. We have morally ambiguous pirates like, say, Zebek or Kid, but Roger particularly has always struck me as more of a kind pirate like Shanks, who was literally his adopted son. More on that later. And Luffy, who will fight when needed, but will always look out for others. This flashback has now given us a more raw look at a younger Roger. He was more hot-headed, love-struck, and also someone willfully apathetic about an ongoing genocide to instead maximize his own profit from it. To me, I was shocked that people who were more focused on Garp, who I feel was always morally ambiguous for working for the government despite knowing who the Celestial Dragons are, than Roger, who actually seems less interested in the situation despite previous portrayals. That said, I feel like a lot of people are taking my comment as criticism to Oda or his writing, when I don't think this is badly written at all. I'm disappointed in Roger as a person, but at the same time, that makes him a more interesting and flawed character. It makes him more different than Luffy and more his own person. I want to know more about him now. On the other hand, the Roger from the Odin flashback came off to me as someone more wise, charismatic, and caring towards what I'd imagine an older Luffy to be like. So I wonder, was he always this kind of morally ambiguous character willing to accept a genocide taking place and I simply misjudged him all along, or was he simply too youthful and impulsive and he learned to change over time after something happened? Yes, the last part. Being able to ask these kinds of questions is what makes a story like this so fascinating, yada 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 yada. What kind of person do you feel Roger is like? I'll tell you, Artur, and I agree, these kind of discussions are very fun. It's way more fun than power scaling discussions and shit. Or thinking that Oda doing the Domi Reversi thing is weak storytelling. So, right there with you. So, let's just go back to one of your points. Always, looked at as more of a Luffy slash Shanks slash kind of figure, and he's always sort of parallel to Luffy. That's true. But once we learn that he has an actual son, not a stepson, not an adopted son, named Ace, we see the parallels with Ace. And Ace is an apathetic character who only cares about himself, who is a hothead, who is youthfully motivated and driven. And that's what the depiction is of a younger Roger. That's what we're seeing now. We don't see the same way God Valley seemingly militarizes Blackbeard to become who he is, and militarizes Dragon to become who he is, and militarizes countless other people to become who they are. God Valley is a nexus point that changed lives, perspectives, and truths, and that's ultimately what makes Roger the person he is. He doesn't even care about the world at this point in his pirating career. He doesn't even understand what to be a pirate really actually means. He's just having fun with it. He's just trying to turn the world around and stuff like that, but not seriously. He means with shenanigans. He is a kid who doesn't understand the world, who comes to understand the world and his position in the world and starts to take it seriously. If you look at Ace, he went to Wano, he met Otama, he met the starving people of Wano, wanted to kick Kaido's ass, but ultimately didn't do shit. Didn't do shit. Not a damn thing. He met Kaido's son, which was a girl, and everything else stopped. And he became friends and got distracted, and it became about her and all that shit. Okay? Look at Roger. He is at God Valley. He's going to learn some shit. He's going to grow to become a better person from this. But the only reason he's here is for a bitch. I'm being facetious, but literally it's the same thing. He's more of a depiction of Ace than anybody, especially in his younger days. And it isn't until he learns what he's getting ready to learn in God Valley does he become the Roger that we know from Oden's flashback, because he has a battery in his back at this point. He's radicalized at this point. And I think that's Oda's intention. I think Oda's intention throughout these flashbacks, throughout all these people that are set up to be these mythological people, down from Rocks, when we heard in the Ultimate chapter, down to all the stuff we've heard about Roger. When you get to the actual people, they do not live up to the legend. Legends and the actual people are two separate, different things. That's what Oda is trying to say. Even when Luffy comes out of Wano and we get that whole recap of the bounty reveals and the narrator breaking down his top officers, and you get the splash of Luffy, Yonko, Emperor of the Sea, big ass bounty. He's supposed to be this fucking figure, but he's in a fucking cage beat the hell up by his crewmate, Nami. Like, yes, he's a legend. Even on Shanks' ship, Luffy's a legend. He's this demon monkey guy, but no, he's this goofy ass nigga that gets beat up by his crewmates regularly. Like, these legends don't mean shit. Legends, history, don't account for the real thing. History is written by the winners, not the losers, not the people who are dead. The winners. That's what Oda's trying to say. So those are my thoughts on it. I got 8 minutes on the topic. I feel like that's cool. I feel like I gotta jump on the rest of the people. I don't even have to edit so much in here. I just have to edit Artur's thoughts. But let me know what you think, man. How do you feel about the depiction of Roger? Do you think it follows a grand scheme of not believing in legends? Do you believe he's more of a dual character, one post God Valley, one pre-God Valley, and there are parallels from characters from both perspectives? Or do you feel like Oda is just trying to make Dragon his own person? Roger his own person. Do you not see any parallels? Do you think that this is a clean breakaway from the comparisons and this is all Roger? Let me know what you think. That's my time. Peace.